Welcome to the Weekly Bat.
Welcome to the Weekly Bat for the week of June 13th to June 19th, 2020. Starting off the week with a Brave Sync version 2 preview. Our new sync functionality is available now in our nightly desktop version for testing and is landing in our general release for desktop and mobile in just a matter of weeks. Test it out and let us know what you think. There is even a page where you can leave feedback on the feature. Linked in the Weekly Bat blog post, of course. Please note, Nightly is our testing and development version of Brave. The releases are updated every night and may contain bugs that can result in data loss. Nightly automatically sends us crash reports when things go wrong. If you don't want to deal with any of that, no worries, because Sync version 2 for desktop and mobile, as mentioned earlier, is just a few more weeks away from landing in the general release. Up next, I recently interviewed David Liebowitz, who is the President of Business Development at Everipedia and PrediQT. David and I discussed a number of topics, including Brave and Everipedia's collaboration to spotlight new and noteworthy Brave creators, how Everipedia's inclusivity and no notability policy makes it possible for anyone to contribute to their digital encyclopedia, and how Everipedia encourages users to participate in the governance of its knowledge base by using a blockchain-based incentive and rewards model for creating and curating content. David also introduced Everipedia's brand new decentralized prediction market called PrediQT, which is built on the EOS blockchain and is powered by Everipedia's IQ token. PrediQT allows EOS users anywhere in the world to create a market on any future event and allows any user to purchase and trade shares in the outcomes of those events. If you are interested in listening to my interview with David, be sure to stay tuned until the end of the podcast. I will place the interview after the usual weekly updates. Up next, enter Tap Network Sweepstakes using BAT and instantly win a digital gift card. Brave users in the United States who are verified with Uphold can now enter Tap Network's Sweepstakes to win digital gift cards for household brands like Amazon, Starbucks, Target, Adidas, Verizon, Chili's, Domino's, Gap, and much more. To enter the sweepstakes, head over to brave.tapnetwork.io and find the sweepstakes section on the homepage. Then choose the sweepstakes that you would like to enter and select your number of entries. 1 BAT equals 1 entry. Winners are chosen at random through a digital sweepstakes drawing system and will receive their digital gift card prize via email. Up next, Brave Creator Tip Drive. Calling all Brave verified creators. Share your work and let the BAT community support you. Share a link to your verified website or channel where community members can support you with tips or contributions in Basic Attention Token, or BAT. Tell us a bit about yourself, your work, and how you got involved with or discovered BAT and Brave. And to our wonderful community, this is a great opportunity for you to discover new and interesting content, as well as to show your support for our growing network of Brave creators. Don't forget to send participating creators a tip if you like what you see. And if you really like what you see, you can add them to your auto contribution list for ongoing support. Creators, the link to share your work is in the Weekly Bat blog post. And for anyone listening who has their own website, YouTube channel, Twitch channel, Vimeo account, GitHub account, Reddit account, Twitter handle, you can get verified today at creators.brave.com. No minimum number of followers or subscribers is required. Anyone with their own property can get verified. Moving right along, this week in Sponsored Images, you can find images from Home Depot, Bybit, BlockFi, and eToro in Brave's new tab page. Our growing list of new tab page sponsors includes Verizon, PayPal, Newegg, Western Digital, Chipotle, Khan Academy, Crypto.com, Tezos, Upland, and more. Brave Creator Spotlight, in partnership with Everipedia. The first featured creator of the week is podcast host and personal liberty activist Rob McNeely. Rob McNeely is a crypto entrepreneur, personal liberty activist, and podcast host. His show, The Rob McNeely Program, features thought leaders on subjects like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, startups, entrepreneurship, personal liberty, of course, and more. The second featured creator of the week is Aussie Man Reviews. Australian YouTuber Aussieman engages his subscribers with his candid reviews and colorful commentary on a diversity of topics such as sports, viral content, Game of Thrones, film, and even wildlife. His style is to tell it straight, no BS, which must be an effective strategy because it has earned him over 1.2 billion total views. Up next, client updates. This week, the Desktop Nightly channel progressed to version 1.12.38. The Desktop Dev channel graduated to version 1.11.68. The Desktop Beta channel grew to version 1.11.69. The Desktop Release channel progressed to version 1.10.93. And the Android Release channel jumped to version 1.10.94. Friendly reminder to always keep your Brave browser up to date. This will allow you to stay ahead of bugs and benefit from all the latest updates and fixes. To update your Brave browser on desktop, go to brave://help. And to update on mobile, if you don't receive updates automatically, you can just go to your App Store and push an update from there. Brave team tweets. Brave CEO Brendan Eich tweets, "Just saw an awesome demo of Brave Sync V2. It's already in Nightly at brave.com/download-nightly. Has anyone tried it yet?" Brave CTO Brian Bondi tweets, "One of many goodies in Brave Nightly on Android." And he shares a screenshot of the Verify Wallet button on Android, which is newly added. Director of Business Development Luke Malks tweets, "If you're feeling adventurous and helpful, we would love your feedback. 1. Open Brave on desktop. 2. Navigate to together.brave.com. 3. Spin up a call. And 4. Reply with feedback here in the thread, which is linked in the Weekly Bat blog post." Luke says, "Works best in North America, but is accessible everywhere." Senior Developer Relations Jonathan Sampson tweets, "A couple of days ago, I spoke with a Brave user who asked for the ability to reload all tabs across all windows all at once. I just published an extension to do that. Curious who else needed this behavior. Feedback appreciated." And of course, there's a link to the extension in the Weekly Bat blog post. Bat and Brave in the news. This first piece is by ZDNet. JavaScript creator Brendan Eich. My take on 20 years of the world's top programming language. A newly published paper by Brendan Eich, CEO of the Chromium-based browser Brave and the key designer of JavaScript, looks back at 2 decades of the definitive programming language for the web, browsers, and increasingly, native mobile and desktop apps. Anyone developing for the web must know JavaScript, one of the top 3 programming languages, along with Java and Python, whose popularity has surged due to the rise of machine learning. Eich, a co-founder of Firefox maker Mozilla, and his co-author Alan Werfs-Brock, a key author of the ECMA script specification for JavaScript, detail the long and winding history of JavaScript and the web since 1995 under the influence of Microsoft, Mozilla, Netscape, and Oracle. News you should know. This piece is from the Week in Ethereum News newsletter. Blockscan, the search engine for a decentralized web. Accessing decentralized, uncensorable websites has long been touted as one of the potential uses for Ethereum. In recent years, projects such as ENS and Unstoppable Domains have made large strides in this area. Users are now able to access these sites by simply entering human-readable names instead of long-winded IPFS hashes. One challenge remains, though. Users of such sites lack easy ways of discovery. Imagine looking up a topic on the internet. You wouldn't need to type an exact URL. Your browser's native search engine picks out countless suggestions for any particular search item you look for. The same cannot be said of decentralized websites, where even entering exact URLs may not get you to the website you want on mainstream browsers. Enter Blockscan. Up next, this piece is by Gordon Kelly, who is a senior contributor via Forbes. Google confirms serious new problems for Chrome users. Chrome is already suffering from some visually spectacular graphics problems, but now things just got a whole lot more serious for fans of Google's browser. Making the eye-catching render issues on macOS seem quaint, Google has confirmed that since Microsoft's massive Windows 10 May 2020 update, Chrome can no longer keep users signed in, sync data, store cookies, remember passwords, or third-party extension data, sometimes deleting the extension completely. Moreover, Google saw this coming 2 months ago. In a bug report filed back in April, Google engineers confirmed multiple problems with the Windows 10 May 2020 update, then still in beta testing. Strangely, TechDAO spotted the report was subsequently marked as won't fix before later being reopened, with Microsoft stating last week that it is now accelerating the May 2020 rollout, despite no fix being found. More and more Chrome users are being affected and complaints are growing. Roaring fans. Ibrahim from Twitter tweets, "Thank you to all the team, developers, and internal staff who are involved in making my favorite browser." Thomas Payne tweets, "Love your browser. It just works." If you're still here, hi, you made it to the end of the usual weekly updates. Awesome. I presume you're still here to listen to my interview with David Liebowitz of Everipedia. So I'm going to insert that coming up. But I just wanted to say it was my very first time interviewing somebody, so please go easy on me. I mispronounced his name right from the jump, but he was really cool about it. And yeah, there may be a few other small blunders along the way, but hopefully you still enjoy it. Let me know in the comments if you did, and if you would like to come on the podcast or know somebody who should come on the podcast, let us know. All right, here it is. Today we have our very first guest ever on the podcast, and his name is David Liebowitz. Did I say your name right?
No, it's Liebowitz, but
Shoot.
people mess it up all the time. Do not worry. It's Liebowitz, yeah.
Should have asked you that prior. So yes, David Liebowitz. And he is a founding team member and the vice president of business development at Everipedia. Everipedia is the encyclopedia of everything. It was founded in 2015. And according to the team, the encyclopedia offers significantly more modern tools and features than other online encyclopedias available today. It also uses blockchain technology, EOS specifically, to reward users with IQ tokens for creating and curating content, which allows them to participate in the governance of the knowledge base. So, David, I'm sure the first questions flooding people's minds are, what sets Everipedia apart from the Goliath that is Wikipedia? And quickly, for those who don't know, the term wiki refers to a website or database developed collaboratively by a community of users, which allows any user to add and or edit the content. And David, do you feel that this is true for Wikipedia? I'm curious to hear your thoughts, so take it away.
I think it was true in the beginning. I'll give you guys a little history lesson. So for the first 10 years of Wikipedia, it was truly a wiki. It was truly this collaborative, open source, like anybody can contribute project. And later, towards the 2010, 2011 mark, there was kind of a rivalry going on between two camps of editors in the Wikipedia community. You had the inclusionists, and the inclusionists believe everything should have a page. If it's a stub, it can be improved. For this open source project, we should stick to this ethos. And then you had the deletionists, and the deletionists were the opposite. They were like, no, we need to have standards, we need to have restrictions, we need to have notability requirements. And around that 10-year anniversary, it was the deletionists, they won out. And from there on, you saw a stagnation in editors. They were capped around either 5,000 or 10,000. You saw, a lot less new pages being created. And Wikipedia really became an exclusive platform around that. And it kind of, went away from that everything could have a page ethos that characterized it in the beginning. And 5 years later, that's where Everipedia came along. And I remember when I first discovered Everipedia, I was in college. I was just randomly browsing Facebook, and I see this Everipedia page for a random news event show up, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting, and I click it, and I'm just like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is a scholarly wiki page for this random person in the news, and set up the same like a wiki, with the citations, neutral with the info box. It's like, oh, this is cool, and I just kept on seeing it around. And I personally, I love music. I love following artists. I love knowing their backstory. So when I was younger, I would always be kind of upset when I would Google, so-and-so artist, but they don't have a Wikipedia page. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? And so, yeah. And so when I when I started contributing to Everipedia, I'm just like, wow, this just makes sense. This is just cool. I can make Everipedia pages for all my favorite artists and send them to them and contact them. And so that's why I like to brand Everipedia as the up-and-coming wiki and topics and culture, because we really do cover, I call it the Goldilocks zone between, not notable, quote unquote, enough for Wikipedia, but, people are still searching for it. And that's why I love this partnership that we're doing with you guys, with our brave contributor of the day, because all the contributors and all the creators are in that Goldilocks zone, and it just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yes, that totally makes sense. I totally agree with you. Like, there are so many times where I'll look someone up, a figure in like pop culture, or like you said, topics that are kind of up and coming and that haven't really caught like critical mass yet. And you'll look them up expecting to find a wiki page, but there just isn't one. So it's really interesting that Everipedia is seizing on this up and coming idea. Actually, I was on the Everipedia homepage a few days ago, and I saw that there was an article on Alexandra Cooper. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So just for those who don't know, and we won't get too into it, but for those who don't know, Alex Cooper is one of two, but well, now she is the sole.
One, the single father.
Yeah, the single father. She's the sole host of a podcast, a smutty kind of like not safe for work podcast called Call Her Daddy. And her co-host, Sophia Franklin, who is no longer co-host, got involved with this boyfriend, Peter Nelson, who's this like big shot HBO. Exactly. Yeah. And he, Peter Nelson kind of put his paws where they didn't belong. And, there was a big blowout, all this drama. And now Alexandra is the only remaining host, and she and her network Barstool are the sole owners of the Call Her Daddy IP, or intellectual property. And I just thought it was so interesting that Alex Cooper got an Everipedia page, and then I was clicking through and I saw that Sophia Franklin had an Everipedia page.
Yeah.
Peter Nelson had an
Everipedia. I would love to tell the story behind like those pages. So before I was vice president of business development, I was just an editor. I started off as a volunteer contributor, and then I eventually became an executive editor. So in the beginning of 2018, I was able to take a trip to Sweden, because we have one of our offices are out in Stockholm. Our CEO is based out there, and like a few other employees.
Nice.
And so I'm thinking like, what pages should I make? And I was like, Barstool bloggers. Like, of course, like it finally hit me, because I've been a fan of Barstool since 2012. I went to UMass, and so Barstool is originally from Massachusetts. There's a bunch of stoolies out there, so I've always been a fan. And so I'm just like, I'm gonna make a page for every single blogger and podcaster. And so I literally there's a list on Everipedia, like list of Barstool sports bloggers, and I made a page for every single one. And so around that time was when Call Her Daddy just started. Literally, it was just getting off the ground. And so I made the page for Alexandra, I made the page for Sophia, and eventually, like, I noticed on the analytics, I'm like, wow, these are like by far the most popular pages out of the Barstool sports bloggers. And I knew from early on, I was like, wow, this is definitely a juggernaut of a show right here.
Yeah. I think they beat out like Joe Rogan in the ratings the other day.
They did. Yeah. That was because when Dave was like the Daddy Speaks episode, and he just gave all the tea. And like, I was like, wow, this thing, like, that's the cool thing about editing Everipedia, is like, from being an editor, I know what's like going to be popular in the future. And it was like that with Alexandra and Sophia. And even before that, like I said, I was really into music back in like 2018, more like 2017, there was just like whole wave of new, SoundCloud rappers that like came into the fold. And like, I remember just like, I remember seeing these kids, and like, I'm like a little bit older, so I'm just like, who are these kids? And then I just noticed them getting really popular online. I'm just like, well, they better get a page. So like, the Lil Pump got a page. I infamously made the Tekashi 6ix9ine page, and I remember I'll never forget, Wikipedia ignored 6ix9ine for like 6 months, and we just kept on getting all the traffic. I swear to God, one day he had 69 people concurrently on his page.
Yeah, well, that's like, your advantage.
Now he has a Wikipedia page, but like before, I'll never forget, like, when I first like heard of him, I saw him. It was like July of 2017. And I saw this meme, and it was like, when you defeat all the SoundCloud rappers, and this is the final boss. And it's this picture of the most ridiculous looking person I've ever seen. Rainbow hair, face tattoos, a giant 6ix9ine on his forehead. I'm like, who? I didn't even know he was a rapper. I just thought it was a meme. And I was just intrigued. So I made a page saying that he was a meme. And then I realized he was a rapper. I'm like, oh. And then, like a few days later, like interviews started coming out. And like, I kind of like, when it comes to pages, I just get a gut. I have a really good intuition. I pride myself on that. And I just know when like these are going to be popular. And like with 6ix9ine, I had the biggest feeling like, oh, this is going to be popular. And so, made his page, like kept on improving his page, and the traffic came. And like same thing with like Alexandra Cooper and Sophia Franklin, I'm just like, oh, these people are popular. So I just kept on like improving their page and whatnot. And so it's really cool. But
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, what's really interesting here is that, here are these kind of key players in pop culture right now who most likely wouldn't or don't have Wikipedia pages written on them. Like you said, Tekashi 6ix9ine was ignored by Wikipedia for the longest time. But, here Everipedia has grabbed hold of these like fire topics in pop culture and is really seized on them, which is amazing. Given that, in some cases, like with the Call Her Daddy girls, like the plot of this story is like still developing, it's still thickening, and like there are so many sides to the story. So how does Everipedia ensure that the articles remain objective and neutral?
Yeah, great question. So I consider wikis, whether they're on Everipedia, Wikipedia, wherever, these wikis are living documents, and they're always being updated. They're always, if something new develops, you add to the page. Like it's not a static document like your standard news article. So when a new development happens, we have to adjust the and add to the page. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I'll get into a little bit of how like Everipedia works and how the IQ token works. This is a good segue. Yeah, so Everipedia runs on the IQ token. And so that's used so editors can use the IQ token to, submit articles. Editors can use the IQ token to vote on other articles. So for example, let's say I want to like edit the Alexandra Cooper page. I add a little bit of new news, and then I, submit the page. And so then there's a 12-hour voting. It's like 50 IQ. And then there's a 12-hour voting period. The community looks at it, and they're like, is this like objective? Is this true? And then they vote yes or no. If it's accepted, then I, as the editor, and the people that voted, they earn IQ tokens. And then, if it gets rejected, then those IQ tokens are locked up for a period of time. So it's this really novel governing system. We've actually been live in this blockchain form since the summer of 2018. So it's almost been 2 years. So we've been a live working blockchain product. And we're really proud of that, especially like back in 2017, 2018, there's like so much vaporwave. All you needed was like a white paper and hype. It was a crazy time. And there was like no one with really, any projects or like real live projects. Like we didn't even have an ICO. We did an airdrop to all EOS token holders to kind of like promote the sense of community. Yeah. So, it's been great so far. And we really see the IQ token being a foundation of a knowledge economy that doesn't just power Everipedia, but powers a whole family of decentralized applications. And so we actually have a new dApp live that's we call it a knowledge market called PrediQT, and it's a prediction market, but we like to brand it as knowledge markets. And what's cool, I think I haven't seen a prediction market like PrediQT. Not only is it super intuitive UI UX, we actually had somebody on Twitter say, "Oh wow, this is really cool. The covers on the front page of predict.everipedia.org. They look like baseball cards. Like it's really easy to look at. It tells you, like what the market is, what people are thinking, yes or no. And what's novel about PrediQT is one, users can create their own market. So if you have IQ, you can submit the IQ to create a market for, let's say, will Brave browser pass 10 million downloads by September 1st, 2020. Users can submit that market, and then users can trade yes or no shares for that market.
Oh, interesting.
In IQ tokens. And then
Do you
what's
need
also
oh sorry to interrupt. Do you need an EOS account to participate here? And like for the layperson, like do you need to have any real
yes.
understanding of like blockchain technology at this stage at least?
At this stage, yes, but we're actively looking at, building towards ways to, so it's easier for anyone, whether they're into crypto or not, to participate in these knowledge markets. So
Okay.
yes, right now you do need an EOS account, but, we're gradually, we're all about consumer adoption and making it in, ease of use. And I think when it
Yeah.
comes to blockchain, we care about just building good products. We don't, if it's, like people are like, oh, like blockchain this, blockchain that, but like, no, you need something that people can use easily and people enjoy using. And I wanted to add the second novel thing about Predict
Yes.
is that now we have when the market's over, we have a resolution system similar to how people vote on articles. People use IQ tokens to vote on the resolution. So,
Oh, cool.
uh, so let's say the answer is yes. The Brave browser does pass 10 million downloads by September 1st, 2020. So, people look at the Oracle source and then they basically stake their IQ tokens to the yes answer. And yeah, it's really novel. When you create a market, you actually earn fees from the trades. So there's an
Oh,
incentive
okay. So
there.
that's the incentive.
Yeah, there's also a referral fee. So
That's great.
I like whenever I like make a market, like so a market I made the other day was will Tesla be in the S&P 500 by the end of July or end of August? I don't know. And so I made the market and I had my referral link. I tweeted it out. A bunch of Tesla people looked at it. It was really cool, and maybe even a few of them like decided to sign up and trade on it. But yeah, I'm like
That
really
actually
excited.
sounds like a lot of fun. It
It's
sounds
fun.
like there is a lot of incentive for people to create markets of their own. Now, when they join the platform, do they are they granted tokens or do they have to, purchase their IQ tokens on a secondary exchange first?
Yeah, so right now, but you do have to get your IQ tokens on a secondary exchange. So we're on Bitfinex, we're on Upbit, we're on CoinTiger, we're on a few other exchanges. I think we're on a few decentralized exchanges and whatnot. Where we're always actively looking to get on markets and making it easier for people to get IQ tokens. So yeah, but right, we actually added something in Predict recently with Bancor. So let's say you have EOS tokens in an EOS account, you
Mm-hmm.
can just because the right now IQ, markets are just traded in IQ tokens. So with Bancor, you can like automatically switch the EOS you have into IQ tokens right there. So that's one way.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so that's one way we're making it easier. And we will by the end of the year, it will be a lot easier for people to attain IQ tokens and a lot of people and to use Predict. I'm really excited what we're building. Early on in these projects, like you have to get the foundation right, and once you get the foundation right, and you build for the more widespread adoption.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Now, do you have any plans to integrate this new product, Predict? And for anyone listening, it's PrediQT, capital Q, capital T, Predict. Yeah, do you have any plans to like integrate this with Everipedia?
Yeah. Yeah, we already have actually on Predict Markets. You can see if you scroll down, you see Everipedia pages that are relevant to the Predict market.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so that's one way right now that they're integrated, and vice versa. So let's say there's a prediction, like I said, a prediction market about Brave, then we plan in the future to have that market on the Everipedia page. So we see these products, definitely supplementing each other. They both have to do with knowledge because when an event is over, somebody has to record that knowledge. So it's on the Everipedia page. It just makes sense. And we honestly
Yeah.
we have a world-class team of developers. They're working hard every day to get this out to the people. I feel like it's definitely a privilege for me to work with them because I am not technically competent at all in developing, and I see what they're doing. I'm just like, well, this is really incredible. Like I'm more just like I'm the messenger. I'm the guy trying to get the message out there to the people, saying like, look at the cool stuff we're doing. Like, please check us out. And if you have any questions, like I'll be more than our community, me, anyone around, like we'd be more than happy to answer them and whatnot.
So you're a real like Everipedia and Predict warrior. And if I'm not mistaken, just going back to something you said earlier, you said that you came to the team through something you saw on Facebook. So you kind of came in through the community. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I came in super early on, so my story is really
Yeah,
interesting.
tell us your story.
So you know, I was in college. I was like a senior in college. I kept on seeing these Everipedia pages, and when I graduated school, I didn't have a job lineup. I had like a bunch of job interviews, but you know, I didn't get them. I didn't want any jobs. I was going to the standard senior existential crisis. Oh God, this was like 4 years ago. It's so crazy to think about it.
Wow.
But I saw this Facebook post saying, looking for interns, like hit me up if you're interested. So I like, you know, I answered the call. And then I remember I was in New Jersey at the time. I was at my parents' house, and I'm just like, you know, I knew this was my calling, like making Everipedia pages. And I'm just like, I'm going to do like whatever I can to like work for Everipedia. It's funny because like they didn't have like a job opening, you know, they were just like this brand new startup, and you know, and it's so different than your standard 9 to 5, you know, doing something like this. And I would do this like on the side of an internship I had. I would used to like wake up early, try to find like trending news topics before, you know, the day started. And then at like my internship, I would make Everipedia pages and whatnot. And eventually I caught their attention enough where they were just like a few months later, like, hey, do you want to move to LA? And I'm just like, hell yeah, I want to move to LA. Like, like
Wow.
what's the catch? Yeah. And so, you know, I bought like a one-way plane ticket to LA a few months later, and I've been here since September 2016. And, you know, I'll never forget, we were all in this, it was basically like a Facebook movie. Like, and you know how they're all in that house, like coding and whatnot? Like,
Yeah,
it was the same thing. It was just like you know, like probably like 7, 8 of us on this apartment, you know, just like making wikis and like a few developers and whatnot. It was like, it was crazy, honestly. You know, it was like that for a few years. We were just like this website. I was just like looking for, you know, pages to make, like I said, up and coming topics and culture. I felt like I lived more on the internet than I did in real life because I was just trying to find stuff to write about all day. And then eventually,
oh, sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to ask, so before Everipedia, because Everipedia your stuff wasn't always on the blockchain, right? Like at what point did you guys make your foray into the blockchain?
Yeah. So for the first 2 years, we were just like your standard website. We were just like a supplement. I like to think of ourselves as kind of like a supplement to Wikipedia with these up and coming topics of culture. And then it was around 2017. So one of the co-founders of Everipedia, Sam Kazemian, he mined crypto in college, and you know, he mined altcoins. He's a big Doge fan, still is, and you know, different altcoins and whatnot. And so he already had that learning curve in like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
And then when, crypto died out, he like decided to like shift towards like focusing on Everipedia. And then in 2017, when like, you know, it started to like coming back again with Ethereum and whatnot, and we saw kind of the potential with blockchain technology, especially the censorship resistant part.
Mm-hmm.
And to be truly a next generation encyclopedia, it just made sense for there to be a blockchain knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
And we were the ones to do it. So, you know, we got connected to the right people. You know, we made like this very detailed plan on how we were going to do it. And, you know, we got the support, and, you know, we raised money from Galaxy Digital. And then we decided, and we were the first token to say, hey, we're going to like airdrop on EOS. And that was huge. And that, in the EOS community, they're like, whoa, like this, like, it's like, and it just made sense for us to build on EOS. Like, I'm blockchain agnostic, and I think every blockchain has something to offer. And what EOS offered us was, no transaction fees. So it just made, and like the quick transactions. So it just made sense for a consumer dApp like Everipedia to be built on EOS. And so that's why we moved there. And, you know, and then it was in the summer of 2018 where we officially made the switch from being just a regular website to a blockchain-based encyclopedia.
Wow, that's a crazy journey, all in like 4 years' time.
You know, like crypto, like, you know, how time is just faster than like normal life. Than, you know, I thought like being in tech, like time moved fast. In crypto, like you could be out of date in like a matter of like 3, 4, 5 months. You can be behind.
Oh my God, yes, definitely. But yeah, it's so interesting to me that you came in through the community and like you applied for an internship, when they weren't really actually looking to hire anyone full time. And
Yeah.
I think that just says something about the power of this space and the communities in this space. Funny enough, the way that I joined the Brave team was through the community as well. Back when we had a public Slack for Basic Attention Token, I was in there. I have this uncle who is obsessed with Bitcoin, was teaching me a little bit about it. And, I was just, it's crazy because back when I was learning about crypto and blockchain technologies, like I feel like the information or the learning materials, the resources that were available were like very disjointed. And I had to kind of pull info and learn from a bunch of different sources, which is good to do, anyway.
Yeah.
But it was challenging, and
It really is. It's such a journey trying to like learn about how blockchain works, Bitcoin works, and like the different, because you have to, like, not all sources of information are objective. A lot of them are really biased, and you don't know that if they're biased or not. I kind of have like a similar story. When we decided to go into like crypto and blockchain in like the summer of 2017, I knew nothing about it. Like I remember hearing about Bitcoin in 2010. I had this memory of like, or 2011, and I had this memory of like I was saving up I was a busboy at a country club, and I saved up all this money, and I was like, should I buy Bitcoin or should I buy silver? And I could not wrap my head around Bitcoin or
you
how
were
to get it.
mystified by the Bitcoin.
So that's like the first time I missed out. And then in like 2014, I heard about it in college again, and I'm just like, whoa, this is cool. And I was trying to learn about it, but it was just so confusing. And by the time I heard about it, it was already at the top, so I'm just like, oh, whatever. And then in 2017 is the third time around. I'm just like, and then I was like in it with Everipedia. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like dedicate myself to like learning about this stuff. And so I'm a writer at heart. Like I've like before Everipedia, I had like a few different blogs that like I wrote for fun, and I decided to start a new blog. It was called Bitcoin for Plebs.
I was going to ask you about that. And, like I was saying, when I was starting to learn about crypto and blockchain, I was watching a bunch of different YouTubers, like King of Do, shout out, one of my favorite like OG guys. But yeah, so I saw your blog, Bitcoin for Plebs. And, even though it's been a few years now that I'm in this space, like I consider myself a pleb in many ways.
Yeah.
And I think like, in a way we all kind of still are. So this is interesting. Tell us about
like
the blog.
An eternal pleb in a way. Like I said, it's always updating. There's always new stuff happening and whatnot.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell us about that blog and why you started it, and give us.
Yeah. So I was just like, I had like so much like, I was researching, getting so much information, and I just had to like write it down. And I just saw, I didn't see that many good sources on like how to like think about stuff in the crypto in like the right mindset.
Yes.
And so I just decided what is the mindset around Bitcoin, because it really makes you rethink how money works and like where money comes from. Like, because I feel like we live in an ocean of, before crypto, we were just in this like ocean of fiat, and like it was the only world that existed.
Yes.
And we could really look outside of that. But with with Bitcoin and all these like decentralized cryptocurrencies and whatnot, like it's a chance to step outside of this fiat system. And so I just wanted to give a way to people to kind of like give them a new perspective, kind of give them a pair of glasses to have the right, like I said, the right perspective.
Yes.
To contextualize all like how the world works. And
yeah, so, the right context.
Yeah, that's it. It's so I think my first articles were great. Honestly, like when people ask me about like, hey, can you like tell me more about Bitcoin? Like I just still like send them my like early articles from Bitcoin for Plebs. And I actually got to interview a lot of cool people in the space. I interviewed, the co-founder of Everipedia, Sam Kazemian. I actually interviewed Jeremy Gardner. Shout out to Jeremy. Thank you for being an early interview on Bitcoin for Plebs. I interviewed a few people at Everipedia as well. And it was a lot of fun doing the blog. And I think the biggest moment for Bitcoin for Plebs was when we had the opportunity to go to South Korea to announce the airdrop on EOS.
Wow.
And I was like, there's a way for me to, and I was lucky to get to go. I was like, how can I like make the most out of this opportunity? So I wrote like kind of a blog post about like Everipedia and EOS and whatnot, and that was the biggest article I ever wrote. Like it got a ton of positive feedback on Twitter and social media.
Nice.
That was a really, and like it was so cool because like I was just like at like the cutting edge of this announcement, and I was able to just like, kind of give my like what this means to EOS and to crypto. And so it was just really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, no, that sounds really amazing. And I think, writing these articles, interviewing people, and kind of like building, a blog in this case as you go is like the best way to learn.
Yeah, it's honestly, the history of money is just so interesting because we can't imagine a world without fiat, but in reality, like there used to be a world with precious metals, where it's like, or like gold was the basis, and then the gold got worn down because of copper or whatnot was added to it.
Yes, exactly.
And
Less
it's just so,
valuable.
yeah, it's just so interesting. Money has always and constantly has been evolving, and it's so hard for people to imagine a world without the current money system right now. But in reality, like it's always changing.
Agreed. So should we tell the listeners about our partnership and how?
Oh yeah. So we have this co-marketing partnership that's been going on since the beginning of the year. We actually just got it extended more, and basically we're helping each other highlight each other's brands in different ways. So on the Brave side, they're giving us ad credits, so like, and we're using that to recruit editors. I'm on this podcast right now, spreading the gospel of Everipedia PrediQT. And on our side, we're making Everipedia pages for all the contributors, and we've been doing twice a week our Brave Contributor of the Day. I'm
Yes.
actually looking at the Bat Community Reddit subreddit right now, seeing all the different pages we've made. It's really amazing how the feedback we've gotten from the community. People really like it. And you were telling me before the podcast how the Bat community is like, oh, like how can I like support creators better? Like where can I find creators? Yeah, and like
Yes.
this is the list, the Brave Contributor of the Day, the Brave Creators list.
Yeah,
And we
exactly. Like this is why this. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh no, you can go.
No, I was just going to say, like, this is one of the reasons why this collaboration is so important and valuable to us is that, we are always looking for new ways to spotlight verified creators in the Brave community and give them exposure. And, we've decided in this case to do that through Everipedia for us, but also to help you guys build your catalog as a fairly new decentralized online encyclopedia. But yeah, so with our creators, when they get verified, unless creators have like a significant audience, few people, if anyone, will know that they've verified and joined the platform. So unless you're the kind of person who likes to comb through Bat growth in your spare time to discover new content that might interest you, people just aren't going to know that these creators have joined the ecosystem, and then the community won't be able to support them. So yeah, this is really key. I don't know what your selection process is actually for the creators, because I know sometimes I will have a recommendation for you guys. Like I'll say, oh, can we feature this creator this week? But a lot of the times it's your team who picks them.
Yeah, that's up to our community manager, Christian DeSiga. Shout out Christian. He's basically looking for. Well, I honestly, what is his selection? I honestly haven't asked him. I think like how I have a good eye for content, he has a great eye for content.
Yeah.
So I think he sees brave contributors and creators that are doing something unique, that are doing something that he thinks like the world should know about, and what the Bat community should know about and what should be highlighted. And he's like, oh, this person is cool, and so like we should feature them. And so I think it's like a pretty, he just has the right intuition for finding these creators. And so, but we're always taking recommendations. Like we would love for the Bat community to respond and let us know, like, who do you want to be the Brave Contributor of the Day? Like we're all ears for that.
Yes. Now that we have your ears, community, and we're both here talking to you, let us know if there's a creator that you know of that is fascinating to you, whose content you love, and you feel that they need more exposure, or they're, just a little bit underappreciated. Let us know. On a practical level, what we've been doing every week, just so the community knows, in case like you haven't been following, is that Everipedia or the community manager at Everipedia will select 2 creators that they want to feature, and then a Everipedia article will be created about them, and then Everipedia will go ahead and share that article to their community, like on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll share the article. We'll, under the article, we'll give their YouTube channel or Twitch channel so people can sign up and can contribute. Yeah, I've been honestly like this partnership has like blown my expectations between your community reaction to it, like how well like it's been executed on our side. You know, all around this is like truly like a mutually beneficial partnership between the both of us, and I'm excited to keep working together in the future and finding new ways how we can work together.
I agree, and I don't think we've missed a week since we started, really.
No, no,
Which is
it's been every week.
awesome.
Yeah, we've been very consistent.
Exactly, yeah. And so like once Everipedia shares the article they put together and they spotlight the creator on their own socials, then we'll pick it up from there and give the creator even more exposure on our
Yeah.
social media. And then we'll mention them in our podcast, which you're listening to right now, and also in the written blog post. And one thing I'd like to do going forward is to have the creators that we feature on the podcast too. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. And then we can add the podcast to the Everipedia page.
Exactly.
Building on top.
Yes. So David, I heard, I was listening to another podcast with you featured. There was this funny story that I heard you tell on this podcast. And if you want, could you please tell it to our listeners? Because I thought it was really funny, but it was also significant and really speaks to the value of Everipedia. And that was, it was the music.
You're really building this up. I'm like,
I am. It was the music festival story.
Oh,
it was the
yeah.
Electric Forest story.
Yeah. Oh, I love this story. Yeah. So,
Tell us.
yeah. So the story is like, I just, moved to California, was making pages, and I'm just like, how can I like combine? Because I knew I was going to Electric Forest later that year in 2017, and I'm just like, all right, how can I combine like me going to Electric Forest with like my work in Everipedia? And then I'm just like, all right, I'm going to make a page for every single person on the lineup, and I'm going to improve every Wikipedia import that we have, because we imported all Wikipedia. And so for months, I worked so hard on this. I would make really detailed Everipedia pages for every artist on that lineup. And the thing was, that year they had 2 weekends of Electric Forest. So I had like I had more work than your average music festival. And like, I would listen to the artist, I would like make the page, I would share the page, a good amount of time, like I would get connected to the artist, talk to them for a little bit, they would share the page. And so I did it. I finished it before I actually got to write an article on an EDM website about it, like the 5 people to like look for, up and coming artists to look for. And then by the time I got to the festival and I was meeting people, I'm like, oh, who you're interested in seeing. No matter who they said, I knew the artist and I knew their music. It was like the best homework. It was like I was doing homework, and I was like, the article going to the festival was my like test, and I just knew every answer to the test.
That's incredible. So you used Everipedia as like a networking tool.
I think Everipedia is the best networking tool that that hasn't been really utilized yet. Because I imagine if like you're a student in college, there's somebody at like a company or somebody that you look up to, you want to get connected with. I encourage you to just make their Everipedia page. It's really easy to sign up. You actually don't need an EOS account to sign up for Everipedia. You can sign up through Facebook or your email. We have a method for you to do that. And you can make the Everipedia page and send it to them. So I encourage everyone to do that. But back to the story. Yeah, like I actually met a few of the artists at the festival, and some of them were like, "You're the guy." Like it was these 2 Australian dudes. They're like, "You're the guy that made the page." I'm like, it was so, yeah. So that was back in my editing days, and so yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's a really, really incredible story, and it must have just made the whole festival like more rewarding for you too.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, and then you learn about them, and then you can like mention like, oh, like this was an interesting part of your life, like what was going on here, or like I still use it to network and like to get to know people, like, oh, like who am I about to like reach out to? I'll make their Everipedia page.
So great. Yeah. So great. So it sounds like Everipedia, if we can summarize it, is making it easier / more possible for people to contribute to their local digital encyclopedia. And it's true that it's an inclusive community that favors a more decentralized protocol and that welcomes articles from a great variety of sources on anything.
The open, inclusive encyclopedia. And what I love about Brave, honestly, and BAT is how you reward people for their, for just their attention and for using the platform. I think that's I think that's really the future of just like how a lot of things are going to work economically in the future. Is more of just, this reward-driven economy instead of this consumer-driven economy. I was thinking about this before the podcast. I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words, because right now we're just consuming ads, and we're just and then like our data is being consumed and mined and whatnot, and we're not really getting anything out of it. So it's very, very extracting process that.
Not only are you not getting anything out of it, you're getting exploited.
You're getting exploited. Yeah, exactly. But with Brave, like you're getting your cut, you're getting your fair share. And it's really cool. Like I've been using Brave a lot more, and I'm like more than impressed with it. Like it's super fast, super easy. I found it really easy to import, all my cookies and whatnot into the Brave browser. And you guys have a really great product going. And I know I'm stacking bats.
You're hodling.
Yeah. I'm holding my bats, and it's great. I'm excited to see where you guys are going in the future, because honestly, like you guys are one of the, like, in this space, like, everyone talking about all these different products and whatnot, like Brave really stands out as like a pillar of the consumer dApps to come.
Thank you. It's funny that you're holding onto your bat, but you should, if you want, contribute to.
Let me clarify.
As well.
Like, I don't have that much bat. I really don't. But like, I'm waiting to stack my bat so then I can contribute to.
Oh, well, that's. Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole idea, right? Is that you opt into seeing these privacy respecting ads. You can, pay it forward to creators with the bat that you've earned.
Yeah. So, it's whole giving, contributing, token ecosystem you have here. Like you earn from, these privacy ads, and then the creators earn from you. It's this whole nice ecosystem you have here. It's really impressive. I think both Brave and Everipedia, we're here about empowering the common man and empowering the people, empowering everyone, men, women, everyone. To, whether it's like through contributing, I feel like with Everipedia, people have a stake in their, in what they're building and what they're contributing. So like, you get out what you put in. So if you can contribute good content to Everipedia, you get rewarded for it. And same. Yeah, so like I think we're both like on the same wavelength in different ways.
I think we are too, and like that's why this partnership works. And I can't wait to see truly where it goes in the future. Looking forward to it. The future is bright. So just to close off here, because we've been chatting for a while, but yeah. So just for fun, I was reading your Everipedia page prior to our meeting today, just because I wanted to know.
You've done your homework. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I had to do my homework, and I saw that you have a Sriracha shirt.
Oh, yeah.
which might not be significant to most people, but I'll tell you why it's interesting to me. I am a hot sauce fanatic. And I personally think Sriracha is a little weak. It's delicious, but it's a little weak. So tell me about the Sriracha shirt.
Yeah, so the story behind the shirt in the page. So I think like in my last year of college, during winter break, me and my friends, we took this road trip down the California coast. It's ironic because my friend wanted to move out to California, but I was the one that ended up in California. But anyways, we go to the Sriracha factory out in Palmdale, and we take a tour of the Sriracha factory. And I bought this Sriracha shirt that I still have to this day, and I always work out with. And so,
so it's an iconic thing for you now.
Yeah, it's iconic for me. And I think I posted like a picture of me with my Sriracha shirt, when I just moved to California, and like my friend jokingly say like, "Does your Sriracha shirt have an Everipedia page?" And I went ahead and made the Everipedia page for like the shirt itself, and I told the story. I like used the pictures I had as like citations, and then I just added it in the page. And so somebody's like, "Oh, you can make a page for that too." I'm like, you know what? I am gonna make a page.
That's very funny. And again, sounds like kind of silly to be talking about this, but like it is important because like this is one of the things that distinguishes Everipedia again from Wikipedia is like this low or no notability factor.
Yeah.
Is that
you just need the only things you need is, citations
and neutrality.
sound neutrality, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You can even make a page on your left thumb like your CIO did.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to, one final thing, share where people can find Everipedia, where you can find us. So, you can find us on Twitter at Everipedia, Facebook at Everipedia, Instagram, Everipedia Official. I encourage all your users to join our Telegram at Everipedia, Telegram/Everipedia. I also, with Predict, you can find us on Twitter at Predict_network. I encourage your users, join the Predict Telegram. We're really, we have a growing community there. People are always, sharing ideas for markets, sharing questions. And if your users want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Dave said that _ and on Instagram I'm Dave doing things _ and you can reach out to me at Telegram at Dave Liebowitz.
David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jenny. This was a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun. Looking forward to having you on again, hopefully in the future, and to continuing this lovely partnership we have. So thanks again, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye. That's a wrap for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you would like to read the full stories whose headlines we cover on the podcast, be sure to read the accompanying Weekly Bat blog post. You can find that on batcommunity.org always. Or if you're listening on YouTube, check the description box below the video for a link. And if you're listening on a podcast app or player, check the show notes.